Hello folks, and Happy New Year to you. Now as many of you know, I just don't have much time outside of work these days. But when I do, well, I usually just spend it outdoors. But given the time of year, that may not always be an option considering the weather may have other plans. And when it does, I do occasionally like to hunker down. I don't watch much television, but when I feel like being entertained, I usually just get my fix on YouTube. So in this video, I'm going to do something a little different and talk about and recommend some of my favorite YouTube pages that cover a wide variety of subjects that include history, mystery, military, the outdoors, travel, true crime, the paranormal, and a few of my favorite podcasts. Now these mentioned in this video are just the channels that I know of and have been following for quite some time. Of course, you're more than welcome to recommend some of your own that you think I might be interested in checking out. So let's get that ball rolling. First, let's talk about the outdoors. There are several channels in this category. The first one is Camping with Steve Wallace. His dry, unconventional approach to modern-day camping is both fascinating and entertaining. Steve is your average, down-to-earth kind of fella who enjoys urban stealth camping, storm camping, wilderness preparation, and creating interesting campfire foods that'll make your mouth water, no matter how bad it may sound. His level of wit and humor make even the most mundane of activities interesting and compelling. I also appreciate his outside-of-the-box approach to camping, often using household items and demonstrating easy do-it-yourself projects. He's the kind of guy you'd like to have a beer with, or as Steve often quotes, a step two with. I probably spend more time binge-watching his videos than all the others combined. I highly recommend Camping with Steve's channel. Search and Survival, formerly known as Rat and Cat, is another YouTube channel I've been following for quite some time, and it focuses on not only the search for individual missing person cases, but also wilderness survival techniques, navigation tips, and interviews. Nikia's passion and level of professionalism make this channel some of the finest quality content you'll find on the subject. Now here's one I discussed before in previous videos. The Canam Missing Project follows the work and research of Missing 411 creator David Paulides, who's dedicated years of research into some of the most baffling missing person cases out there, and who inspired me to begin covering the subject as well. His level of expertise, professionalism, passion, and dedication to his work is quite admirable. David provides factual information. He encourages everyone to question everything we think we know about the world around us, and cover many of its issues and mysteries that often does not see the light of day from mainstream news coverage. This is by far one of my favorite channels out there, and I encourage everyone to check it out. So let's switch gears and talk about the next subject. As many of you know, I'm a bit of a military history buff as well, and have always been fascinated with World War I and II. Mark Felton Productions really dives deep into the nitty-gritty of these wars, and provides us with a steady supply of documentary-style information in those videos that'll keep you glued to the screen. The man has done his research, and it shows through in his works as he covers everything from famous battles, historical figures, secret operations, and more. If you're into military history, you'll appreciate this channel. While we're on the subject, I wanted to talk about a channel called Steve 1989 MRE Info, or formerly known as Steve 1989. There's something fascinating about watching a grown man eating century-old military rations. Steve has been unboxing and sampling every kind of MRE you can imagine, and from all parts of the world, even some that are well beyond their expiration dates. His videos, though simple in nature, covers a niche most of us never knew existed. It's a 2-in-1 package here, as we also learn about the history behind these rations. Now let's get into true crime. There are so many good channels in this category, but I'll be sticking to just a couple. For me, true crime gives us a good look into human behavior, and it's important to have awareness of what goes on in the world around you. You don't always find the information you're looking for with mainstream news coverage. In fact, it's often just the opposite. Lord and Arts is a YouTube channel that provides us with a clear and logical understanding of some of the most puzzling stories you'll ever hear. John Lorden, the channel's host, covers a variety of subgenres pertaining to true crime such as Searchlight, Brain Scratch, and Unsolved Mysteries. I learned about John's channel through his excellent coverage of the Elisa Lam story, and since then, I've been following his work. I appreciate his skeptical yet logical approach to the official story, and his ability to separate fact from fiction is admirable. We could sure use more channels like his. Dr. Todd Grande also covers many of these types of stories, but does so from a psychological and professional point of view, breaking down and analyzing bizarre human behavior behind some of the most bizarre cases you'll ever hear of. Dr. Grande gives us a clear look into the psychology and motivations of criminals and what it is that may be happening in similar situations. His level of wit and dry humor are also what make this channel both unique and entertaining. I can't tell you how refreshing it is to hear from someone who not only has a PhD in human behavior, but also gives us a fair and balanced assessment of some of the most hot-button issues affecting the world today. Jim Wagner is probably a YouTuber you haven't heard of before. I discovered him while following the Delphi murders mystery in Indiana. Now here's a man who's dedicated so much of his time to uncovering the truths behind one of the most shocking crimes in modern history. Not only does he give us frequent updates about this case and similar stories, he forces us to think outside of the box and to question the official story. Both his passion and positivity are what the world needs more of. Next, what's YouTube without a little adventure and exploration? Well, that leads me to my next recommendation. During the early days of the pandemic, many folks fled the cities and returned to the land, so to speak. Many new channels were created as a result of this, including one of my newer favorites called Ghost Town Livin'. This channel follows the journey of a man who did just that. Brent Underwood, a self-starter, explorer, and entrepreneur, bought a ghost town and made it his life's work to bring that old town back to life so that others can not only learn about the mining town's history, but be inspired to live a simpler, better life. Brent's philosophical approach teaches us to enjoy the natural world around us and to love oneself through hard work, education, dedication, and self-worth, all the while preserving history and providing stunning visuals. If you're into travel and adventure, Mobile Instinct is a channel that does just that. The channel's host, Chris, puts us in the front seat of many of the interesting destinations all over the world. You'll find everything from historical to paranormal here, outdoor and abandoned explorations, and so much more. Chris gives us a simple yet unique perspective as a solo traveler who's constantly learning and making new discoveries. Well, here's a channel that many of you probably wouldn't expect me to follow. Buzzfeed Unsolved with Shane and Ryan is one of the most entertaining channels to date. In this channel, the duo set out to investigate some of the most infamous and haunted locations in the world, and they work perfectly well together, as one is a believer and the other is a skeptic. Toss in some great humor, and you've got yourself some binge-worthy, highly entertaining content that'll keep you thirsty for more. A lot of what I talk about on my channel surrounds the strange and mysterious, the odd and bizarre, and the ever-elusive world of the unknown. Sometimes I want nothing more than to put on some of my favorite podcasts, whether I'm working, playing, or both. Some of these channels include the Dogman Encounters Radio, Expanded Perspectives, Where Did the Road Go?, Marlar House, also known as Weird Darkness, Fireside Chats, Beyond Creepy, Scary Mysteries, and the classics like Dave Schrader, Joe Rogan, Art Bell, George Knapp, and others. Even if I don't exactly agree with the personal opinions of the hosts of these shows and podcasts, they're still entertaining and often gives us a glance into a world we would otherwise never have known about. Many of us have had our own paranormal experiences, and you won't hear about this sort of thing in traditional news. So it's good to have a community dedicated to being open about it, and to hear the quote, other side of the story. And there you have it. Just a few YouTube recommendations that you might find as interesting and entertaining as I have. I'll be sure to provide a link to each one of these in the video description, so that you too can check them out. These are just the ones I know of, and I have no doubt there are many more amazing channels I've yet to learn about. And that's where you come in. If there are any channels that you think I might find interesting, do let me know. And if you are a creator yourself and would like to share your channel, well, why don't you go ahead and do so below. I'll be in touch, and you can expect some new material headed your way in the near future.